everyone, this is Sara and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make my hair grabber Swiffer cover. Now see those ridges? They are perfect for grabbing all that dog or pet hair that likes to hide around those corners. And the neat thing about this Swiffer cover is that if you make it in the acrylic, it's perfect for dry dusting, whether you're doing dog hair or any kind of dry dusting on your wood floor, your ceramic floor, tile, any kind of smooth surface. But you can also make it in a cotton, and then it's perfect for wet mopping as well, to get those little spills. Maybe your granddaughter spilt some milk, or in my case, some root beer. That girl loves her root beer. It's a super simple pattern. And it's really fun to make. And it's also a great way to use up some of your leftover yarns. Maybe you bought a color you don't like anymore or can't remember why you bought it because it's like not your favorite. You can make Swiffer covers with them. And they're fantastic because you can clean up your dust or your mess, toss them in the laundry with your cleaning towels, throw them in the dryer, and then they're ready to go the next time. So, this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. So here's the Swiffer cover taken off of the Swiffer itself, and you can see it's just stitched out straight, and then we're folded in, and then we stitch along the top and along the bottom. And then you just stick it on, and it's really simple to put on because it's very stretchy, and I'll show you that later on. What you're going to need to make one of these is either some acrylic yarn that's a worsted weight number 4 or some cotton yarn. And this is a great project for some of those maybe yarns that you purchase that you don't like. And I purchased this one and it's not my favorite, so I'm going to make one out of this later. For today's demonstration, I'm going to make it out of this like green. I don't know why I purchased this color, and I can't remember what I was going to make with it. So it's a good way to use up some yarn that I have and make something useful. So like I said, you can either use a worsted weight number 4 or some cotton yarn. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook. The H hook is a 5.00 millimeter H hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in your ends, and of course a pair of scissors. All right, let's get started making our Swiffer cover. What we're going to do first is our slip knot, and then we're going to chain 61 chains. And I do suggest that you chain a little bit looser on your initial chain so that it's not too tight and pulls on the end. And we're stitching with an H hook today, and if you have a tendency to stitch your chain a little bit tight, you might go up to the next size just for the next size hook, just for this initial chain, if you are someone who has a tendency to stitch your beginning chain tightly. All right, so let's chain 61 chains. All right, I have chained 61 chains. I'm going to turn, and we're going to skip this first chain that's next to our hook and begin stitching in the second chain from the hook. We're going to stitch a single crochet in this second chain. So we'll put our hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. That's a single crochet. And we're going to place one single crochet in each of the chains across. And we will continue doing this all the way across our chain till we reach the last chain, 1 single crochet in each chain across. Alright, I've just single crocheted in my last chain across. I'm going to chain 1, and the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just a turning chain so that my work lays nicely. Alright, so on this next row and on each row we're going to be stitching in the back loops. And so what that means is if you look at the top of your work where the loops are, the front loop is the loop that faces you. The back loop is the loop that faces away from you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook just through the back loop and stitch our single crochets. We'll do this all the way across this row. And you'll automatically begin to see how the ridge forms when you look at it, right? Here's the ridge. So what we're going to do on this row is stitch 1 single crochet in each of the back loops going across our row. So I finished this row stitching in the back loops, and you'll see there's a ridge going all the way down, and on the back side there's an indentation, and that's exactly the way that it should look. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to repeat what we just did on this last row on the next row, and that's the way the rest of the rows will be worked. We're going to stitch a total of 16 rows. So here's 2, so I need to do 14 more rows of single crochets in the back loops, chain 1, turn. One single crochet in each stitch, working in the back loops all the way across, chain 1 and turn and repeat so that you have a total of 16 rows. And you can see the ridges forming again there and an indentation on this side. And that's the way that it's going to work. And those ridges and indentations is what makes it the perfect hair grabber, because the hairs get caught in those ridges. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch my 16 rows, stitching 1 single crochet in the back loops of each single crochet all the way across my row, chain 1, turn, for a total of 16 rows. I've stitched my 16 rows, and if you have a little trouble counting, something that I do is you can see where the ridges are. You have a row here and a row in the ridge. So you can count those by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Just to keep you, just a little hint so you can get your rows straight. Once you get to the end of your 16th row, we're going to clip our yarn and tie that off. All right, and we'll worry about weaving in the ends later. The next thing we need to do is fold the edges in, and the way we do that, and one other thing I wanted to say is it doesn't matter which side is the outside and inside. They both have the ridges on them. It's up to you how you want to do it. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold the end up 4 inches. So what I do is I just measure it, and that's where my fold is, and then I fold that in. And you can use a pen or something if you want to pin that. I usually don't. Alright, where'd that tape measure go? There it is. Let's do the other side. 4 inches. And we'll fold that in. And this is the way that it should look. Alrighty. Now, take your Swiffer mop and make sure you've measured right. Now do remember it's very stretchy, so we want it to fit snugly onto your Swiffer mop. Alright, so now we're going to stitch the sides together, and we do that by taking the yarn that we're working with. Put your hook through those last 2. Pull your yarn through, because we're going to be stitching the 2 together until we get here. Alright, so I'm just going to make a little chain 1 just to hold my yarn, and then I'm going to single crochet going through both the loops across. Now I don't give you an exact stitch count here because it's kind of up to you. Just make sure that it fits your Swiffer. And if you're using an off-brand, it might be sized a little bit different, because there are some off-brands that are really good. And we're just working across, making sure we go through both the part we folded and the cover itself. And we just single crochet across here. There we go. Make sure we get in that last one. And then we're going to single crochet in the stitches across. Make sure our things are all lined up again. And then we'll do the same thing. Going through the front part we folded and the bottom part. And we're just going to stitch single crochets across. Go through that last one. And tie off. Now what I do on these 2 corners to make sure those don't come undone is I pull them with my hook to the inside, and then I weave them in on the inside. Just turn that over, thread that tail on your yarn, and just go through some stitches back and forth, just like that. And we'll do that on the other side as well. We still need to weave in these other ends, and what we did on this side we're going to do exactly on the other side. Put our hook through and single crochet across, going through the front and the back. So here's the finished Swiffer cover. I went ahead and weaved in my ends with my needle, and this is the way you put it on your Swiffer. You just stick the one end in. Remember, it's very stretchy, and then you just stick the other end in. And now we're ready to go mop up a mess or a bunch of dog hair. Now remember, when you make the cotton one, you make it exactly the same, because the stitches themselves is what helps make it extremely stretchy, and the ridges, of course, like we said, is what makes it a great Swiffer cover. So now my Swiffer is all ready to go dust up some dog or cat hair, or maybe scrub up some spilt milk. And the best part about this is it's washable. Take it off, throw it in the laundry, and you're ready to go the next time you have a spill or a bunch of pet hair. So this is my hair grabber Swiffer cover, all ready for my spring cleaning.